Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined by my good buddy, Patio Joe, writer of Straight Cash Homie, your residential Wise Take cash game articles daily. You can find him at Patio Joe Ref. That's REF, and it's in full effect as we enter football season. What's going on, Joe?
Not much. Just seeing these last few games and tonight. Had a pretty wild night. There's a really high scoring night tonight.
Yeah.
In DFS all over the place. I mean, I got 192 and I'm like barely cashing in this one tournament. It's like, wow, I hit the nuts. And the good thing is I still have a couple Padres playing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested. Maybe Blash or Hedges can do a little something. I could really move up the board. But yeah, things are going well. I'm happy because I've kind of like toned down like the volume a little bit, but I'm still, hitting it. Still putting out decent lineups and winning a few dollars here and there.
That's always a good thing. And you're at a point where you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You're building up your bankroll smartly and slowly for football season. Where it's time to dig in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing we've been talking about it for a while. This time of year, things get crazy. Like Carlos Gonzalez the other night, Paulie was still a little tilted about that on the Y stream earlier today. But like a lot of our guys, even our guys, a lot of them did fine even with the scratch. But like, yeah, that's just kind of a kick in the nuts. It reminds you of the basketball season we just had when they took away late swap, and it was just like it's unnecessary. That shouldn't happen in baseball, bro. Like,
yes.
That shouldn't happen. Like, how do you not know that this dude's ankle is sore enough that he's not going to play after the game started? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, man. So, that kind of stuff is going to happen. We're seeing more and more scratches because guys got nothing to play for. So if a guy wakes up with the hiccups, we don't got to play. It's like, like Miguel Cabrera appealed his suspension, still didn't play because his back was hurting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if this was like a playoff situation, you know damn well that he's playing no matter what if he's appealing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it gets wild, man. It's like the Wild West. But with that, there's still money to be made. There is late swap on both sites, so you can still manage. But definitely want to start scaling that back and kind of get ready, switch gears into football, because right after that, you're back on the grind with basketball. So it's like football, you want to enjoy it, take your time, really dig in, because there's really some money. The contests are bigger. There's more different types of contests, and it's only once a week. So definitely a good call.
Here's the thing about football that you need to realize, that if you really put in the work the first couple weeks in football, there is so much dead money of people just wanting to play fantasy football and wanting to try it out that have never played it before. They have no idea what contests to enter. They don't know. They are not affiliated with any site. They're not a part of the Hootie Hoo Nation or the Owls. They're not a part of any other website. So now you got like us, where we're going to give you that leg up, week one. This is who you should be playing in cash. This is who you should play in GPP. So where you're not just you're not going at it blindly and just thinking, oh well, I won my seasonal league and I can do this FanDuel stuff. Sorry, you can't.
No, 100%, man. Yeah, that's totally, man. This 100% game theory is huge. Like data is super important. We love data. We love looking at it. We value it. But game theory, man. Like there's guys like that don't know the sport that are pretty good at DFS just because they know the game of DFS. They have that skill down. So that's a great call. I gotta say, bro, you when you were talking for a second, I was about to tell you to wipe the drool from your mouth. When you were talking about all the fish, you was just like,
yeah, that
he smells blood.
And I don't want to even say that I'm a shark. I just know that there's so many people now that have stopped playing baseball, and if you found out, baseball's a little bit harder right now because you have the hardcore people that are sticking with it. And now you're on now, but then now they're, I'm going to wait for football now. And the first couple weeks, you just got all these people trying out the new sites, this and that, and it's time for that. If all you need is just a little bit of point in the right direction, and I think you can be successful in the beginning of the year.
100%, man, 100%. So make sure you stick with us. Those of you who are already with us, you want to stick with us for the football season. We're gonna have football content for week one for sure. We're going to bang out a bunch of football stuff coming up. So definitely stick with us. And if you haven't signed up already, maybe you're not into baseball, or maybe you're winding down, so you didn't want to. NFL starts next week. So go ahead and go ahead and sign up. Get your podcast discount while it lasts. It might not be here for too long, but
that's right.
Get that 20% off, promo code podcast. Anyway, Joe, we got a lot of baseball to talk about tonight. We got 2 slates. Yes. FanDuel finally smartened up and decided to not break it up. They realized we have late swap now.
It only took them to August 29th.
Only took them to August 29th.
Where very many people aren't playing anymore.
Yes. Maybe that's why they did it. They're like, there's not enough people that are playing that we can even break those slates up and expect the contest to fill. That's probably what it is. They probably had a hard time filling a contest, I would imagine.
But 6-game slates, that's a good slate. It's a good size slate.
That's solid. There's options. And let's talk about those options. All right. R.A. Dickey of the Atlanta Braves visiting Jared Eichhoff of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, we're getting Dick for 2 days in a row, it looks like, after the rain out today. He's coming back, and he's just a guy I just will never play. I know, like, the numbers might say it. There's Q's might go after him. He's all about the dick. That's fine. You can ride the dick all you want. Me, hey, I'm just not about the dick. All right. So it's okay. And I know, because every time, and another thing though, I don't attack him either. Because every time I see him, I want to attack him, it never works out. So I kind of just it's just certain things that I have just my belief is. And I know that if you want to go with the BVP route, find somebody on the Phillies that has good BVP, or at least can hit the knuckleball pretty well, then I'm all for it. But there's not very many knuckleballers in baseball anymore. So just not in general. I'm just not for it. On the other side, I guess if you wanted to attack Eichhoff with some of these Braves hitters, you can. It's not a great spot just because the Braves have been done fairly cold, and Freeman just has not been playing where he should be. So I'm kind of maybe looking other ways for this.
I think I'm totally with you here, man. Eichhoff is not a guy I'm afraid of, but the only guy that I'm ever really interested in, because now that we have 6 games to work with on the early slate, I don't have to play these guys I'm uncomfortable with. So Freddie Freeman's got that wrist issue. Hasn't hit a home run since it's been bothering him. We all know that those wrist issues, like even in basketball, those wrist issues can take forever. So I'm with you, man. I'm not trying to pick on him. And listen, we have no problem with people who like to ride dick. It's just we personally don't like to play dick because we're concerned about the upside.
Yeah.
But with that said, if the problem with the Phillies is usually the sample size. With knuckleball hitting is usually the sample size. So, so yeah, man. Cuse might like him. We all know Cuse likes dick, but but I think I'm gonna have to hop off that.
Yes.
Myself. But it doesn't mean that I necessarily want to target him. You could always play the Nick Williams and Freddie Galvises if you want, but I just whatevs. Trevor Bauer of the Cleveland Indians visiting Jaime Garcia of the New York Yankees.
Yeah, this was another game that was pushed back. This was supposed to be played today. Bauer, we were really on him today. I think on a smaller slate, he becomes a little bit more attractive. I still don't know if I necessarily want to go there at first look. I see Jaime Garcia on the other side, and I think I might want to pick and choose maybe some bats here, the Indians. I said it yesterday, and I realized that in the Indians, they say the Indians haven't been hitting lefties, but on Sunday they put up 12 runs in 2 innings against Skoglund from the Royals, and he was left-handed. So, they can put up runs. Jaime Garcia is a guy that he kind of limits that. So I wouldn't mind a little one-offs here, especially cash game guys, maybe for, a Brandon Guyer, as we always say, our boy.
Paulie hates that guy.
Yeah, I know. So, and on the other side, Aaron Judge is struggling right now, so I'm putting him down until he heats up. You want to play a guy like Gary Sanchez, you can always play him and some other guys, but generally speaking, I think that there's 2 other games that are a little bit more attractive hitting wise that I'm going to go to instead of these guys.
Yeah, again, I agree, man. It's really cooled off in the Northeast. When I got back from Jamaica, dude, it was when I left, it was still summer here. I'm pretty sure it's still summer, but when I came back off that plane, it was 65 degrees, man. It was at night, but I was freezing. I was so cold, and since then, it's been chilly. It hasn't gotten hot here. So like that, it's 47% humidity around New York right now. 73 degrees is the projected forecast at 1 o'clock. So like we're not going to see the ball carry that hot, humid stuff that we see carry in Yankee Stadium. We're not going to see that as much. So I think that's a good point. With that said, I still like some of these Indians like Austin Jackson, etc. If he bats higher in the lineup, Guy, but like you said, I think for me the Indians, if I go there, it's more of a one-off type situation. You could always play a guy like Lindor, But I think you're right. I think Jaime Garcia is not necessarily a guy I want to pick on too much. And Bauer certainly, man. It's risky with the Yankees. They're better at home, but Bauer's having a terrific year, and the Yankees have been striking out. If they're not hitting you, they're missing. And so, and if Judge plays, that's almost an automatic 3 strikeouts. So it's like, So I would happen to have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Carlos Martinez of the St. Louis Cardinals visiting Chase Anderson of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, here's one of my two of my pitching options I think on this slate that you're going to have to go to. Carlos Martinez I think is playable in both formats, cash or GPP. He's facing a team that strikes out a lot. He's a strikeout pitcher. He's averaged about 40 points his last 4 starts. So I can get behind that tomorrow. At his price, you can fit in some other bats. You can go to Coors if you want to go to Coors. I could play the game in Baltimore if you want to play that. You can get those bats. So I like C-Mart tomorrow. And that being said, I'm totally gonna fade the Brewers. And then on Chase Anderson, I can attack him too. I'm all about Matt Carpenter. I told him today in my article, I said he's donating $10K to the flood relief. He had the narrative today, and he hit a home run tonight. I think he's going to stay hot just because of that. And I'm a big believer in some weird narratives. When it comes to baseball, narratives are there. And so I'm basically just in C-Mart and maybe some of the Cardinals bats.
I'm with it, man. Chase Anderson's one of their better pitchers. I'm a little surprised. Like he hasn't gone more than like 5 innings, and FanDuel has him priced at 8.4. I know that he's supposed to be one of their better pitchers. Like a lot of people say that he was supposed to be better than Jimmy Nelson or whatever. But still, man, until you show me that, let him show me a little bit. You're gonna price him at 8.4 at home in this ballpark against a team that don't really strike out. Like what the hell? I thought that was strange. But I mean, watch, not tomorrow he's gonna throw no hitter, but it's
of course.
Go. But no, in all seriousness, man, C-Mart against the Brewers. We saw what Weaver did today. We were saying to play Weaver as your SP2 in cash games and DraftKings. It was pretty simple. Pair him with Sale. That was the whole formula for cash that you were saying. We were saying on the live stream as well. And so it's the same recipe for me, at least for cash games, man. C-Mart all day. It's just, he might give up a couple of home runs. It might happen. But he'll probably also get about 6, 7, 8 strikeouts and give you that floor. And on FanDuel, he's only 9.8, so he's not going to kill you. You could still pretty much play whoever the hell you want to play. It's only a 6-game slate. So, man, Carpenter, that was a great call. You and Paulie were all over that today, man. You guys were talking about the donation narrative and all that. I was talking about the Houston narrative, the Astros, but I was saying, I was like, a lot of those times, those things can go either way. Either they'll respond for their team, or they're just devastated because a lot of these guys have houses in those areas, and you know what I'm saying. So it's
not even so much devastation; it's just the fact that your mind has been going here or there, right, and it's been you're just mentally drained. Yeah. You're trying to think where am I getting my family here? You've been sleeping in there, and oh, wait a minute, now I got to fly to Tampa and leave my family. Right. Oh no, we're all going. And I think it's not even so much. When you're a player and you're making that, I think the material stuff isn't really bothering you. I think it's kind of just the mental of having to be uprooted and everything like that.
Of course. And I didn't mean, when I said devastated, I didn't even mean devastated, they're crushed because of something happened to their family. Because I'm sure that they have money, they got their families up out of there. So I just mean just like you said, just devastated from the now your whole world is screwed. It's now your simple routines. We always talk about how baseball players are into routines. Your whole routine is just done, and now it's you know what I'm saying. Everything is just completely out of whack.
Mad props to the Rays today. All the proceeds that they made from that game went to the flood relief. So wow. That's pretty cool. Because they probably drew more than a regular Rays game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If I had a chance to see the Rangers and the Astros in Tampa, I'd you know what? Let's go.
Yeah, man, let's go. You know what? We never, why not? Why not, right?
Good baseball. Let's do it.
And then Texas put on a show, man. They were hitting bombs.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Put on a show. Joey Gallo's back. But yeah, man. Cardinals bats as well. Matt Carpenter all day. Ariel Miranda, the lefty from the Seattle Mariners, visiting Ubaldo Jimenez of the Baltimore Orioles.
Boy, this is the game. If you want to get off a course, you got to go to. I think if you want to jump on it. I mean, he's facing the same team that he faced 2 weeks ago on the 16th, and he pitched 4 1/3 innings, and he gave up 6 earned runs, and he struck out 2. Yeah, he did great. So good job, Ubaldo. Yeah, so you could go there and you can attack him with these Mariners hitters. On the other side, Ariel Miranda is nothing special. I think he put up a pretty good outing though last game, if I'm not mistaken. No, he only went 4 1/3. Boy, he gave up. Something must have happened. He went 4 2/3 at Yankee Stadium, gave up 2 hits, walked 4, struck out 3, but 0 earned runs. It was weird. You remember what happened again?
I don't. I know. I think I was away.
You're away.
But it could have. Maybe it was a pitch count thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I just think that, if you want to stack the Orioles tomorrow, Scope, Machado, Beckham. I mean, he's a lefty, so Beckham's like, right off the bat. Beckham, Machado, Scope, that 1-2-3 stack right there. And if you want to round it out with 4 with my man, I'll call him Andrew if he keeps hitting home runs every time I put him in the article. Adam Jones. But yeah, dude. I put him in the article again. He hit another home run. It's funny. I wrote Andrew Jones, and I'm gonna keep calling him as he keeps in a home run, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I like this game tomorrow. I think if you're gonna get off of Coors, this is where you gotta go.
I'm totally with you, man. I'm all for it. A very high total. It's gonna be 80 degrees, slightly warmer down there than it is by New York, and small ballpark. Like you said, we saw that Ubaldo wasn't very successful against them in Seattle. And now he gets a big park downgrade. I'm with you, man. Bats from this game are certainly in play. Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers visiting Chad Bettis of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I would say this is, if you want to get crazy in a GPP, Justin Verlander is the way to go. I know it's crazy with his first look. And I just feel like he's got the upside to shut down the Rockies. If you got the fucking cojones tomorrow to do it, just do it. I don't know. He's 8K. You're not going to get him 8K the rest of the year. I'll tell you that much. No. So, and then on the other side, Chad Bettis, he's the lowest priced pitcher on the board, but he's got the narrative again where he went at home and he's actually pitched good twice at home, and on the road is when he got hit. So. But that was the last time. So I don't know. I think if you want to go to this game, you can always stack Coors. What happened tonight? Did they go off tonight or no?
No, not really. I think it was 3-3. And then I don't know what happened after that.
I have to say, if there's one thing I will take away from this baseball season, it will be the Coors effect was non-existent this year.
Overrated.
Very overrated.
Overrated.
It was just not something that I think you need to. To me, I think that you treat it like almost like Arizona now.
Yeah.
If they're good offense and you like go there because it's a good hitting condition, but I don't know. At least this year, it's not, and I think it partly has to do with. I really think that the Rockies are starting to scout the right type of pitchers. So that will succeed better in Coors instead of, they realize, we can't throw curveballs there. Oh, okay, we'll do that, Yeah. So, anyways.
Climate change.
But don't forget, hey, this is the last game Detroit is playing. So on Friday, when Detroit goes to Cleveland, we're all over that Cleveland pitcher. Remember the Coors effect.
That's it.
The Coors effect.
Keep that in mind. Whoever is pitching against him.
That's whoever. I mean, it could be Fuego. At 5,500, I am 100% in on Fuego. Not even a hedge stack.
You think Fuego would be 5,500 though?
I think he would. Okay, 5.
5. Okay, 5. A little more fair. Yeah, man, I'm with you. And if you want to get funky, Verlander's a guy that has immense upside. The Rockies can strike out. We really haven't seen much scoring. right, in this series.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, is it possible Verlander gets tanked? Yeah, there's a good likelihood. Verlander is not a guy that doesn't give up runs. He does. He just gets strikeouts, so like he provides you with a floor. You don't have the floor technically because of the atmosphere, which is why his price reflects that. But like you said, on FanDuel at 8K, you're not going to see Verlander at that price, like you said, man. And he has the capabilities. One thing about him we know is the Tigers will let him pitch. They'll just let him throw 120 pitches every outing. They don't care. So he's because of that, GPP's only again. We have to consider him. Bettis is a guy that I don't necessarily want to pitch, but at the same time, he's great. Like you said, they purposely got him because he's a ground ball guy. He's a heavy ground ball guy, at least when he's on. So with that said, you get kind of worried about the upside. So a first look, and like it's not like, as my old baseball coach used to say, it's not rocket surgery. But right now, I think I would clearly prefer the bats in the Baltimore-Seattle game. So we'll see how we wake up tomorrow and dig in.
Let me go back to that Baltimore Seattle. Did you guys talk on the live stream at all about Dylan Bundy today?
Yes. I mentioned that he's been pitching extremely well lately, like freakishly well.
But he was on the disabled list, and he was on the bereavement list. That's what it was. Somebody died, and they brought him up or something like that. So
yeah, he was like on his 6th day though.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was a strange situation. But but the reason we were concerned was because the weather report had like an orange. Yeah. So
and the game still played, huh? Once they started it still went, huh?
Yeah. How did he end up doing? Any idea?
Complete game shutout, 12 strikeouts.
Oh, is that what he?
That's why I'm asking. I looked at that because I had him in one of my seasonal leagues, and I looked at him like, what the.
Yeah.
I couldn't wow. Like he I mean that's legit, dude.
Yeah, I mentioned on the live stream today. I was like, the dude's been pitching phenomenally. I was like, I'm concerned about the weather there, but if
he was probably 0.5% owned.
Oh yeah. I said if you could stomach it, that there's winds blowing in at 20 miles an hour, 35 mile per hour gusts or whatever. So I mentioned him. Like I definitely did. You have to acknowledge like the streak he's on, man. He dude just woke up and he's just fucking. He's like born again or some shit. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then look at this. I mean, we're just talking about Colorado. German Marquez, 10 strikeouts today against Detroit.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's been really picking it up.
That's why I'm telling you. I think Verlander might be in play tomorrow. Like, just. People got to stop being too scared, of course.
When thinking of tournaments, I haven't seen one pitcher that I'm like, oh, yeah, I have to play that guy. I haven't. Mm-hmm. So Verlander is probably the most talented guy that we've mentioned so far. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's one more guy that we're going to mention who's got a little bit more talent, probably. And that is not Adam Connelly, who is visiting him. I'm talking about Steven Strasburg of the Washington Nationals.
Yes. I think that Strasburg has pitched well since he's come back. And I think that if you wanted to go there and cash, I think he's perfectly fine too, as long as he stays away from the 3-run bomb from Stanton. I think he'll be fine. This is his first start back at home from the All-Star break. And he's facing Adam Conley, who I think this is about the 17th time he's thrown against the Nationals this year. I seriously, every time I feel, and I know it doesn't happen, but it just seems like he's always throwing. He threw at Washington on the 9th of August, and now it's the 29th, and 20 days later, he's throwing again at Washington. Good job, schedule makers. Oh, yeah. I know. It's only the second time he's pitched against Washington this year, but for some reason, it just. No, I know. And I think that time he got lit up too. So
to me, it just feels like Adam Conley's always pitching.
He's always there. He's got a rubber arm. So
like they throw him on 2 days rest or some shit. You know?
I like Strasburg tomorrow in cash and GPP. So I think if you wanted to go anywhere in cash and GPP tomorrow, Strasburg Martinez to start off with as an SB2 on DraftKings. What do you see? What do you see? Any decent prices? I'm trying to call it.
Bauer's a really good price, actually. He's 7.9.
SB2?
Yeah. Like for cash, I know that's a little worrisome. You're like, oh shit, I don't know if I want to play him against the Yankees, Yankee Stadium. But for low prices, there's not very many options. I mean, I'm not going to Miranda or Jimenez. Chad Bettis is 6'4" on DraftKings, so he's not even like, you know what I'm saying? So to me, unless you want to ride the dick, which we already established, neither of us like riding dick. Trevor Bauer would Trevor Bauer would, in my opinion, 7-9. He'd probably be. I figure he's been getting a lot of strikeouts, so you got to figure if he gets you 4 or 5, then his floor should be a little decent. Before you get, I don't think he'll get you like a negative. So yeah, first look, he would be the guy, in my opinion. And you know what? Matter of fact, on DraftKings, the early slate does not have the Washington game.
No, there is one. There is an early that has 6 games, and there's one that has 5 games.
Oh, really?
I'm looking. I was just going to say the same thing too. Are you on the DraftKings site? Are you on it right there? Look, it says Wednesday early, Wednesday all day, Wednesday early 6 games. There is one that's 6 games, and there's a 5-game one. Good job.
Variety.
Yeah, look at that variety.
Why?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I'm not gonna knock him for it, but at the same time, I'm like, why? I mean? Yeah, you're right. There's a 5 early and a 6 early. Okay, maybe some people prefer 5-game slate. I don't know, but yeah. So either way,
You know what's better? I got 7-minute abs. They're better than 8-minute abs. Yeah. 7 minutes, you get your ab work done.
Yeah, man, you get a 5-pack instead of 6.
Yeah, that's until somebody comes out with 6-minute abs. Yeah. 6-minute abs? Yeah. What are you talking? 6 minutes? You can't even get a sweat with 6-minute abs. You know what movie I'm quoting?
No, I don't. But
there's something about Mary. You probably haven't seen. Right. You have seen that.
I did see that. Yes. That's why I was laughing. I was like, "This is familiar."
Sort of knew it, right? I
was like, "This is familiar to me." Yes.
This is familiar. Joe can't be this funny. Okay, I understand. Okay. All
right, man. So that's gonna wrap it up for the early slate. So let's dive on into this main slate.
Let's do it.
All right.
Dive right in. Spread the legs. Find the clitty.
Rick Porcello.
We have our title. Dive right in.
Dive right in. That's it. That's definitely it. Oh, gosh. Rick Porcello of the Boston Red Sox visiting J.A. Happ of the Toronto Blue Jays.
All right. I think it's time to get on the Happ train. I mean, he's only, pitched great. Seriously, he's pitched really good to me. He's 58, 35. His last 2 starts, he's only thrown 5 and 6 innings. But he's facing a team that just doesn't seem to want to hit much up in Toronto. So I think it's somebody that you got to put on your list tomorrow. There's not much pitching options. Tomorrow, I'll say this. Tomorrow goes through what I think is what you got to do is you got to find out whoever the chalk pitcher is going to be, and I want you to stack against that pitcher because every pitcher is under 10K. And I've noticed this whenever there's every pitcher's under 10K, find the most chalky one and stack against them at least one team. And because if that goes off, because everybody's going to be going to that, and that's the way you can get completely different. And then everywhere else you can be as chalky as you want.
Yeah, no, I think that's 100% right. These kind of slates, I hate playing cash on these kind of slates.
Yes, because everybody go here, go there. Yes. I'm pitching. Sure.
Yes, and whoever the most popular guy is, like you said, if there's no elite pitchers on the board, whoever the most popular guy is always gets his ass kicked. It's just you know what I mean, always.
Yeah, I'm we're gonna have seriously, we're gonna go through this, and I bet you we'll both we'll come up with somebody different.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Popular. I think I have one guy who I think will be the most popular, but we might not agree. So.
Yeah, there's the guy that I like, so I think he'll be popular. Like, oh yeah, people are gonna love this guy, and then there's the guy that I'm like, no. Think about the public, really. And then it's like, okay, so they'll probably like this guy. You know what I mean? So we'll get there. But yeah, man, I'm definitely with you. I'm not interested in Porcello here. The Blue Jays aren't striking out enough, and they just struck out a ton against Sale, but that's Chris freaking Sale. If you look at the percentage, they're not striking out this year. Chris Sale is a beast, and you're gonna play Chris Sale every time. Rick Porcello is not Chris Sale. So I think the Blue Jays are fine. Happ, man, yeah. It seems like he's priced very 7-4 on DraftKings.
7-7 on FanDuel, too.
Yeah, so I got to say, man, he's definitely someone that at the very least, I don't know how badly I want to pick on him. Obviously, guys like Nunez, and then again, man, Rajai Davis is there. He's still mashing lefties. It looks like, right? Like,
when did Rajai Davis go to the Red Sox? Did I miss that? Because he.
It was
2,500 let off, man. That was like a cash game lock today.
Yeah, yeah.
That was awesome.
It was like.
You must have been in Jamaica, man, or something. I don't remember that happening until.
I think it was
just
right
recently.
Before I left. I think it was right before I went to Jamaica.
Wow,
and it was very under the radar.
Good pickup for them, man.
Oh yeah, it was a great pickup.
They finally have a leadoff hitter now.
Yeah,
they can move Betts down. It makes their lineup a little bit better. I like it. And I also love it for cash. If he's going to stay at 2,500, Davis, oh, wow. I mean, he leads off. He stole 2 bases tonight. He can get you 24 points like that without hitting a home run. I'll take that every day.
Dude, think about it. Like, in the past against lefties, Chris Young was batting like second and shit.
Yeah. And the Chris Young against lefties, I don't think is that big anymore.
No. They have him batting eighth. That's where he belongs, batting eighth.
Exactly. I agree.
I think it's in the future I'm gonna hop on that train, but maybe not here against these Sox, just because, especially in cash games, like you said, Rajai Davis, man, against a lefty especially, you almost just have to just push the button and just do the rest. Yeah. Rafael Montero of my New York Mets visiting Homer Bailey of the Cincinnati Reds. Who's our boy that always likes Homer Bailey? I don't. What am I always like talking about Homer Bailey?
It's Hughes, isn't it?
No,
I think Hughes. No, Hughes is the one who was like, "Oh, the VMI is good on Bailey today. I'm all in on Bailey."
That was one time.
Man,
I'm saying
that's all it needs. It's for me one time. That's it. You're a Homer Bailey dude now, Hughes. Sorry, buddy. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, there's several titles.
I know,
like so many, but I'm gonna stick with the diving in.
Dive right in.
Yes, dive right in. Yeah, but go ahead and I guess talk about the game.
Yeah, you'd want to attack Mr. Bailey. You know what I mean? You really would. Yeah. But you just, this Mets lineup is just really bad. I mean, they put up a few runs today, but just, I mean, Homer Bailey's ERA is 7.99. He's giving up 8 runs a game. Wow.
Yeah, that's rough, man. It's rough. It is. It's rough.
Even when he struck out 10 against the Cubs in 5 2/3, he still gave up 6. I think if you want to go to the Mets here, I don't know if I necessarily would. Maybe like a mini stack, a Tour, or a Flores, or maybe Cabrera, Cabrera, and Flores. Maybe I don't see anybody with great upside. So I think I don't love it. You know what I mean? On the other side, Reds again, man. Montero's terrible. Why not? I mean, I don't see why you can't. And they were the team to have. The thing about the most reason why the scores were so high today is because the Reds were chalk and the chalk hit. So, and everybody hit too. The chalk, like it was like the main guys, like Schebler to grand slam, and he was great. He was the lowest owned one, but I mean, now they're taking on Montero. A guy made a third of an out on the 27th of August. I don't know. He must have came in the bullpen, but he had no start. But I just don't see, like, you could just stack against Montero with these Reds tomorrow for sure.
I would 100% agree. Homer Bailey's a favorite. And, like, if Homer Bailey's a favorite at 130,
that happens as much as the eclipse happened last week. I mean.
Exactly. So my hunch here is that Homer Bailey is not a favorite because he is that much of a better pitcher than Montero. It's most likely because the Reds' offense is that much better than the Mets' offense.
Yes.
So yeah, man, I think the Reds are certainly in play. I mean, the Mets too. I don't mind some of the play with young guys if you're looking for value. The thing about value, like today, I missed the memo on FanDuel. I ended up doing all right, but I missed the memo on Asdrubal Cabrera. He was like ridiculously high owned in cash games, and I was just like, that's just so rare that people would pay down to third.
He was at third base, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
See, like I had, who was it? There was somebody else at third base that I liked better. That was that wasn't as expensive. That was just as expensive. I can't remember who, but And I was on Reyes too, and he did okay also.
Yeah, I was on Reyes. But Asdrubal, man.
Cabrera. No, actually, you know what? Asdrubal Cabrera was in my third base lineup as in my write-up as a value. So
yeah.
So I think a lot of people might have gone to Longoria because he was 2,900, but yeah.
Dude, he was like Asdrubal Cabrera had a good game today, and he was like 50% owned in cash games.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I missed the memo on that, man. I paid up, and like I did okay, but like I paid up. I would have made my job a lot easier if I'd have just played him. So I just didn't expect it. People almost never pay down, and like people have not been playing the Mets except for these leadoff cheap guys. Like Reyes, I knew, Reyes was a lock. You just punch him in there. He's leading off, bad, not a good pitcher. But like Asdrubal, that was shocking. So I think these guys are in play, and the difference is I don't think people are going to go to these guys because there is no like chalk super mega expensive pitcher. So people only play value guys when they have to. They played Asdrubal because they had to play Sale today. So I don't think that like they're going to go to these guys. Dominic Smith, if he bats fifth, Wilmer Flores, Asdrubal Cabrera, Nemo. These are not guys that are pretty. These are not guys you want to play all the time, but it's Homer Bailey. So like we know the Reds are going to get the attention. Play the Reds. I'm just saying, you might want to take a look at these Mets because they're probably going to be low owned just because nobody's going to have to play them this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another thing, guys, just to let you know, I'm on the FanDuel site, and it says that the early only and all-day slates tomorrow start at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9:05 on the West Coast. They move up the Braves and Phillies game an hour, so it starts at 9:05. So make sure the lineup block will be at 12:05 on the East Coast, 9:05 on the West Coast, and so we'll be able to go. Make sure you don't miss that if you're playing.
Yeah, that's a great call, and that kind of sucks because it's about 1:00 in the morning right now. And I know I'm going to play the slate. So that just means that I have one less hour of sleep.
I think I'm going to want to play the slate just a little bit. Whenever we're on here talking about the morning slate, I like to throw in a lineup because I feel like they've done enough research to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Prepared, right. 100%. Ivan Nova of the Pittsburgh Pirates visiting Jose Quintana of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, okay, so this is one of the options, I think, if you want to go for tomorrow in cash. I think this is where you might want to go, strictly on the fact of I believe in my boy Paulie D, and I believe in what he was saying about the Pirates not hitting lefties. If we threw Mike Montgomery at 6'4" against these same Pirates, Jose Quintana, I just use logic sometimes. Maybe that's why, you know what I mean? Like
sometimes it's good to just not overthink.
Not overthink it. Look, if we liked Montgomery against these same Pirates, here's a better lefty. Logic would think Quintana's a pretty safe, and he's a pretty good favorite, right? I think he's
right? 194.
194. Yeah. So I like this, and on the other side, Ivan Nova used to be a ground ball pitcher, but now he is a let me get hit out of the park pitcher.
He's a home run pitcher.
Yeah, he's a home run pitcher. So Rizzo, Schwarber, Zobrist, Avila, Happ. I like the lefties tomorrow of the Cubs to go up against the Pirates, and I like Quintana.
I'm with you, man. He's only 8,700 too, and there's no elite guy. Like I think Keuchel is probably the most expensive guy, and like he still does not strike me as very safe. And he's not even that expensive. He's 9-1 on FanDuel. He's not even, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like the call, man. He's a big favorite. I like Quintana even for tournaments a bit because of what Paulie was saying, and I think some people are going to look at this and they're going to be a little afraid to play Quintana because of the quote unquote strikeout upside that Pittsburgh supposedly lacks. So yeah, man, I think he's certainly in play. And the Cubs' offense against Nova, like you said, man, they just suck. It looks like there's no help from the wind, but there's also not really going to be any resistance from the wind either. So it's like it's fair game here. And Nova's just been trash. And the Cubs are starting to heat up in their own little way. It's like they're not doing it all the time. Like they can't. Like once in a while they'll blow up and put up 12 runs, but a lot of times it'll be like 3 solid guys that you could play that night that do really well. And so that's decent on a 9-game slate. I think that's decent. So I like these Cubs. Derek Holland, the lefty from the Chicago White Sox, visiting Jose Barrios of the Minnesota Twins. This is the guy that I figure would probably be one of those guys that people think is a sneaky GPP play, and I think he'll be super popular.
Yeah, I'm thinking he'll be just as popular. You can play him in cash. That's what people are going to be thinking of.
Agreed. I think he's cash playable because he's going to be popular.
Yes, because he's facing the White Sox.
Yes.
In that lineup. And when you look at everybody else that's going, I just don't know wherever is a safer option.
Yes, 100%
So
agree.
I really think we got Barrios and Quintana are our cash guys tomorrow.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know where you want to pick. I think if I had to pick one right now, I would pick Quintana just because of pedigree. But if I were to look at Barrios and see his numbers, and I feel like he has more of a strikeout upside, maybe Barrios in GPP and Quintana in cash. Like Quintana's floor, I think, is better than Barrios' floor.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So
Quintana's a trusted veteran.
Yes.
Even if he gets in a little bit of trouble,
Yes.
they'll let him try to work out of it. Whereas Barrios,
Yes.
he's young, so if he gets in trouble, they'll pull his ass. They don't want to break his. They don't want to break his little confidence or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And on the other side, Derek Holland's pitching. So let me tell you this: tomorrow, out of any day, I tell you this: tomorrow, I am 100% on the Twins. If I'm ever gonna be on the Twins. It's going to be tomorrow, all right? 100% I am riding the Twins tomorrow, all right? Dozier, Escobar, Mauer. I might get an ex player. I might just throw him in there. Oh, you used to play for the Twins. I'm going to play for the Twins, all right? That's how I am all in on the Twins tomorrow. Just because Holland can get racked up. They can knock him around. I can totally see it happening. Polanco, man, that's the guy. That was the guy to have at third base tonight. He hit 2 home runs.
Did he?
Yeah, he hit 2 home runs tonight. He went, 2 home runs against the White. Yeah, so and a stolen base, a walk. He had 46 points tonight. So
that's up a game.
Yeah, so I'm all about the Twins tomorrow, 100%. They're my stack. They're my number one stack on the team. I'm going to make one of their players my play of the day. I love it.
Hey, man, I'm coming with it. The one thing, you're super enthusiastic, and I like the call. The one thing I'll say as of right now, I see 11 mile per hour winds blowing in from left field.
That's good. Here's what I'm saying. Like, I was talking to somebody about that. I think it was Paulie. We had the same type of winds blowing in 2 days ago
Was it
in
Baltimore? Yeah.
And that game was the game to have if you wanted to win.
Yeah.
So I don't I think if it was like gusts, like you said today, 20 to 35 mile an hour,
right?
That would scare me more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
I'm with you. I'm with it, man. Give me the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Kashner of the Texas Rangers visiting Dallas Keuchel of the Houston Astros, and they will be in Tampa Bay, right?
Yes. I'm not like Keuchel. I think may be a decent GPP option, but he has not shown us anything to where I'm like, oh hey, there's the Keuchel that we liked, and he faced the same Texas team 2 weeks ago, struck out 7 in Texas. He's going to a better ballpark, so I think you could probably pencil him in for about the same amount when he got 48. So if he were to get that, it's not bad. I think for a GPP, he's a look at tomorrow. For cash, I'm not going there. The same team destroyed Fires today. So, and plus, you don't know where Keuchel's mind is either right now. So when it comes to pitchers too, like you just don't know. Like they're being forced to play right now. We already talked about this. I'm sure that they're going home. They're going back to the hotel and they're on the phone, probably trying to help or do whatever they can. And so I'm pretty much off of Keuchel just for that reason at all. So that's what I got.
I think Keuchel he's somebody I got my eye on him for GPPs. Mainly because the Rangers just put up 12 runs tonight. And I know Keuchel lately, he seems like he's starting to get a little bit together. He's still not, in his elite form, but he's starting to get it going. With that said, I agree with you in that aspect enough that I wouldn't play him in cash. Definitely wouldn't feel comfortable in a cash setting. But in a tournament, I think that, I think he could do something here. And Some of the guys that have been hot for the Rangers, like Chu and Odor, these are lefties. So I think that helps his cause a little bit. He's getting a ballpark upgrade by playing in Tampa, realistically. Mm-hmm. So it's like, again, because of what you said with the whole, the routines in life being messed up. One thing about pitchers, though, that I'm sure that you'll agree with is like one thing about pitching is it has a lot to do with escaping and being in the zone because you have the ball in your hands so much, and like pitchers have a tendency to just close out all the people and close everything out and really just focus in on that catcher. And so it could be a good break for a guy like him. Maybe, I could see him just kind of get into that zone, like maybe a little break from life and just giving him a chance to just go out there and do his thing. So I think for that reason, in tournaments, I think he is in play. But to your point, I wouldn't trust him in cash, even though he might be the best actual pitcher talent-wise. I just couldn't trust him in cash with the circumstances and the fact that he hasn't looked like his elitist self lately.
I agree.
Jake Odorizzi of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Jason Vargas of the Kansas City Royals.
Okay, so we got Vargas, a lefty, going against the Rays, who strike out a lot. They have a lot of lefties, so I'm kind of off the Rays right then and there, but I ain't going to pick Vargas either. So on the other side, let's see, Odorizzi, he's better at home. I think you could pick and choose with some righties or lefty bats here for Kansas City, Merrifield, Kane, Moustakas, Hosmer, something like that. I think it also will be low-owned. So if you want to attack that, I'm all for it. But it's kind of like definitely not in for the pitchers.
Yeah, man. I think I'd have to agree with you again here. I don't want either pitcher. I might be off the Rays a little bit as well. Like, you can play guys like maybe Wilson Ramos, but like we always talk about Souza and his reverse splits. It is pretty significant of a difference. His ISO and WOBA against righties and lefties. We only want him against righties, really. Longoria's just having a terrible year. I mean, just like, just put him out. It's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Put him out the pasture.
Yeah, dude. So it's like, I think Ramos is literally the only guy that I'd be interested in at this point. And like, I like Kiermaier, but he's a lefty, and like, who's gonna hit him
Souza?
in? Like, well, that was just I'm saying about Souza, man. His reverse splits are terrible, man. Like he's so much worse against lefties. But I mean, look, if he's batting fifth and you want to do a mini stack with Souza and Ramos, I don't mind that. Like he's got a shot. But it is pretty significant, his splits. He definitely hits righties a lot better. As far as, like you said, with Odorizzi, you mentioned it, he's better at home. 2, since he came back from the DL, he has been garbage. So I would not mind picking on him, even though the Royals, until tonight, I think tonight they woke up a little bit, but they were pretty damn cold.
Yes.
But I think, we saw them wake up today. Maybe they'll keep it going. So I definitely think the Royals are in play.
Yeah.
Ty Blotch of the San Francisco Giants visiting Travis Wood of the San Diego Padres.
We had Dickey in the morning and Wood at night.
Well, if you don't like the Dick, maybe you'll like the Wood.
Wood, yeah. Wood. I just cross this game out. Whatever. Can we go in this game? No, I think it. You had what was it, Josh, on last week?
Yeah. He just messaged me actually, and he was answering a question I asked him earlier, and the first thing he said is, "Real quick, how about them Padres?"
Yeah, dude, it's funny because like today, if you saw my article, I wrote the Padres down. I said they're a sneaky stack, and if you want to play them with Sale, you can fit them in like perfectly. They're so cheap, and they did well. I had Jabari Blash. Yeah. And Hedges. So
I played Margot.
And Margot did well. So I think tomorrow you could do the same thing. People will not be on them, even in a shorter slate. And it's funny. Josh also said though that on the pod that he said one of his players I always made fun of, but it's one of his boys, and he had a double dong. I don't remember who it was, but. Yeah, he was funny. I was like listening to him. You guys were like all like you were outside. You were on the patio and just hanging out during the day, talking about like you were in like talking about the next day. It was already.
It was like 2:00.
Yeah,
like we didn't have salaries or have anything.
Yeah,
it was a fun show. He's a cool dude, Josh. So hopefully we'll get a chance to work with him again in the future.
Yeah, me and him together that'd be kind of funny.
Oh, that'd be a good time, I think. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm gonna reach out to him. Hey, Josh, if you're listening, I'm gonna talk to you, bro. I'm gonna talk to you real soon.
So anyways, so yeah, I kind of like this as a sneaky Padre stack again. I like his theory when it comes to, picking a team that nobody stacks and do it, because when he hits, you're on it and you can be as chalky everywhere else. So yeah. And on the other side, I'm not into the Giants. I'm roading them off. They just don't have any upside to me.
Yeah, in fact, I think for an SP2, I think Wood is actually in play.
Yeah.
I think you could ride the Wood and an SP2 option. I think it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it would hurt that bad. Jin Ryu, the lefty from the Los Angeles Dodgers, visiting Robbie Ray, another lefty of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Patio Joe's. Oh, how could I forget this one? Patio Joe's Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's right.
Boy.
That's right.
Your boy.
They put up more runs against Godley today than I thought they would. So,
they did, yeah.
I was a little bit happier, but they still lost. I like JD Martinez tomorrow, even as a one-off. I think he is one of the top plays of the day. On the other, Goldie, I think I like the D-backs a little bit. The thing is, Ryu is like a lot of these Dodger pitchers. They don't really ever get blown up that much. I mean, tonight we saw Rich Hill, vaginitis of the fingers, and that he's coming off a game where he pitched great, and these D-backs, they're basically keep telling them that we can play with you guys in the playoffs. So Rich Hill, tonight, just like I always say, man, when it really counts, let's see if you can really pitch in the 6th inning. So. Yeah. I could see him getting lit up. Same thing with Ryu tomorrow. The one thing about the Dodgers, though, is that they get Cody Bellinger back tomorrow. And so that will help the lineup, even though a lefty's throwing for Arizona. That doesn't really bother me. So, yeah, I think that I'm not in on Ray, though, either. And if you want to stack against him, because people will pick him just because he's the most.
I was just going to say, he could be that guy we were talking about.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. He could, because he hasn't dazzled since he's been back.
Right.
And we always say that Robbie Ray is a pitcher that will pitch good against teams that can't hit. Mm-hmm. But the teams that do hit, he's just mediocre against.
Right.
He pitched 40
contact rates were pretty high.
Exactly. He pitched 45. He had 45 points against the Mets his last start, but that's against the Mets.
Yeah.
So
who are just the worst right now.
Yeah. So I'm not into it. Okay. One thing I will say, his last start against the Dodgers, he had 58 points, 13 strikeouts. But that was July 6th. Yeah, that was in LA. This is a different start. He's a different pitcher. It was almost 2 months ago. So I think you can stack against him. I'm not even on him for a GPP. And if you want to get on him, I guess I could see why. But with Bellinger back, it makes the lineup better. You're going to have Kike in there. You're going to have the righty specialist that hits lefties better. So I'm off of Ray tomorrow. And I think you can stack this game if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Number one, both teams are projected for 4.8 runs. And the other thing is Ray is actually a slight underdog. Very slight, but still. He's had a much better year than Ryu. Like Ryu's been better lately. But in the beginning of the year, remember, he was getting hammered. Until he finally learned to limit the damage. So I think that's interesting enough, for me to think. I think Ray is the guy that in GPPs, not cash games, but in GPPs, I think he'll be the GPP chalk. He'll be the guy that people think they're being smart. They're going to outsmart the field and play Robbie Ray in this stadium. And I could see the Dodgers just tearing him up, man. Chris Taylor, like you said, Bellinger's back. Forsythe is a lefty masher. Last year, he was absolutely a lefty masher for Tampa. You always played him. He's not having a good year. This is a good hitting environment. I could see him doing it. Barnes, Kike, double dong upside.
Seager hits lefties better.
Seager hits lefties, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. I think I'm with you there. I can see Ray being the chalk, and if he's going to be the chalk, he could be that pitcher that we were just looking for. That guy that people just gravitate to and gets rocked. So yeah, I think the Dodgers are in play for sure, and I think Vegas is kind of telling you that. Kendall Graveman of the Oakland A's visiting Parker Bridwell of the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah. I think that if you wanted to fade this game, you could fade this game completely and not worry about it. I mean, I think if you wanted to stack the Angels, you could stack the Angels because Graveman's terrible. I think if you wanted to use Bridwell as an SB2 on DraftKings, I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to it either. It's a very vanilla game to me, at least right now. It's something that these two teams are just they're blah teams as there is, and especially if Trout doesn't play.
That's a good point.
If Trout plays, it makes him a little bit more because Graveman's terrible. But if Trout's out, which he's out again tonight, and they scratched him again, two nights. So obviously something's up with his neck. So, I think he's fucking too much. I think he'd just be fucking too much.
That's what he'd be doing.
Yeah, he'd just be fucking.
He's never going to learn. He's not going to the playoffs, so he's,
Women weaken legs. Don't you remember that in Rocky? Mickey, his trainer, he's like, women weaken legs.
Yes.
I'm sure you had one of your wrestling trainers.
What about next, though? No?
What about, I don't know. The next. Yeah.
I honestly think the Angels are I like the Angels GPPs for one reason, Joe, and it's something that you're gonna be familiar with. 90 degrees is what I'm seeing tomorrow, man. It's supposed to be 90 degrees out there, man.
It's so hot out here. It's like 100 degrees right now, and it's like 10 o'clock.
The heat wave, man. I'm saying. I think this is a spot. You mentioned it. Graveman is terrible. I agree with you on Bridwell. He's got some K upside and he limits damage. Although I wouldn't mind in tournaments if somebody said they're going to stack the A's, I guess. But I prefer the Angels. But just in general, this is a situation where we're kind of getting that good weather for hitting, and we don't get that very often by you guys. So, we saw today, Cron hit 2 home runs, Maldonado hit a homer, Calhoun sucked, and I'm just going to say that because I did play him on DraftKings. He just sucked. But,
that was like Paulie's play of the day, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
He was all over. He was all over Calhoun. I don't know if it was his play of the day, but I know he loved Calhoun today. So, I was just wondering.
He liked the Angels. He had the right idea. He mentioned Maldonado on the show. He mentioned like some of these guys, but I think he was big on him, and he didn't do well particularly. But you know who else? He liked Trout a lot, but then Trout got scratched. So that sucked.
Yeah, Trout got scratched. You're right.
But hey, 4.9 for Los Angeles. We don't see the Angels projected for that many runs that often at home.
No.
So
it's like today they were 5.3, weren't they? So.
Yeah. You don't see that very much, and they came through. They put up 8 runs, I think. So I have a little bit of interest in tournaments and cash games. You probably don't have to go there on a 9-game slate. There's already so many better hitting environments we talked about. So in cash, I don't think I think you'd be forcing it by playing too many of these guys in cash. But in GPPs, man, I definitely think the Angels could be worth a look. Hey, man, that was fun. We got through it. We did it. So, real quick, we're going to build one of these pick'ems for the main slate only. Beggars can't be choosers. And then we'll get out of here, my man.
Got it.
Tier 1, we got Jose Barrios, Jose Quintana, Rick Porcello, Dallas Keuchel, Robbie Ray, and then your boy Ryu.
Barrios.
Barrios it is, my friend.
Yes.
Jason Vargas, Jake Odorizzi, Ivan Nova, J.A. Happ, Parker Bridwell, Kendall Graveman, Homer Bailey, or Ty Blotch. Wow, they're really going to make you pick a shitty guy. They're just...
Happ.
I'm with Happ. But they're really going to make you do that. They're just going to force you to pick a shitty guy. I like it. Byron Buxton, Brian Dozier, Anthony Rizzo, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, if he plays, Joey Votto, Jose Altuve, and Paul Goldschmidt.
Brian Dozier.
The Dozier. I like that call against Holland. Kiermaier, Morrison, Hosmer, Bryant, Smoke, Benintendi, Springer, and Bregman. How about your boy Bregman here?
I was going to say...
Hosmer?
I like Hosmer. That was what I was going to say against Odorizzi. I think people will be off him. Yeah.
He had a home run today. Corey Dickerson, Steven Souza, Eduardo Nunez, Crush Davis, Adam Duvall, JD Martinez, Jay Clam, and Curtis Granderson. JD? Can we go JD?
JD for sure. Yeah.
JD.
For a T5, that's crazy that he's down there.
Yeah, man. T6, Abreu, Moreland, Donaldson, Joyce, Semien, Cozart, Andrus, and Seager if he plays.
I would go with Cozart or Donaldson.
I like Cozart. I think I like Cozart.
All right.
Whit Merrifield, Jorge Polanco, Mauer, Hamilton, Flores, Beltre, Pollock, Jarrett Parker. These tiers are getting weird.
I'm sticking with the Twins, Polanco.
Polanco, sticking with them Twins. Tier 8, Rosario, Josh Bell, Simmons, Jose Reyes, Nomar Mazara, Justin Turner, Yasiel Puig, and Jose Pirela.
Rosario, sticking with the Twins. I'm all about the twins.
Straight up twin stack from head to toe, literally from pitcher to hitters, man. I'm with
Patio Joe's all about the Twins.
All about the Twins. That's it.
We're going to see the Twins. and Austin Powers, he said that. We're going to see the Twins.
I love Austin Powers, all of them. Especially the second one was my favorite, though.
The second one's good. It's so underrated.
Oh, man. With Mini-Me was introduced and all that,
yes.
Man. Oh, man.
But the one with the third one, though, when they come back and the opening scene with Mini-Me where he's like, is he sleeping? It's so funny. It's pretty good. Mini-Me wants some chocolate.
I loved it, man. I used to love those movies, man. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys listening. We mentioned the podcast promo code 20% off with your membership. Hopefully you'll hop on board. Football's next week. Don't waste your time. Come and hop on. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button. It really means a lot to us. Subscribe to the channel. It does make a difference. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow there. If you're listening on iTunes with the audio-only version, give us a 5-star rating. It could go a long way for us. And also subscribe there as well so that you get the podcast immediately. If you don't want to see our faces and you prefer to just listen to us, that's fine too. But anyway, Joe, this was a lot of fun, brother. I appreciate it, man. Of
course. It was a lot of fun. Just to let you know, guys, Cody Bellinger coming off the DL tomorrow, and on Friday, Carlos Correa should be coming off the DL too. So there's a little bit more offense coming back this week.
I like it. Sounds like runs. All right, guys. So thanks again for listening. It means a lot to us. We appreciate you. From Patio Joe, for myself, the entire White Steak Nation, as always, good luck.
Peace.